Talking with the Experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name is Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and today my guest is Chantal Gerardy. I just had to look that up. That was pretty bad of me, wasn't it? And Chantal's going to talk to us all about Facebook and how business owners should be using it themselves and setting it up themselves rather than outsourcing it. And we're going to find out the reasons behind that very shortly. And you can find Talking with the Experts on SoundCloud and on YouTube. Welcome, Chantal. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about why business owners should be doing Facebook for themselves rather than outsourcing it.
Yeah, sure. Well, I might start actually with a little bit about my story because it kind of shows you how I fell into this.
Yeah.
I wasn't a marketer. I wasn't a marketing guru. I wasn't a social media expert. I was none of those things. I was just a little old business owner, like all the other little old business owners out there, with a passion and a dream and, wanting to, help the world and do what they love. But like any business owner starting out, I had no startup capital and I had no marketing budget. It was just little old me all by myself in the big bad world of, getting clients online with the scary F word, Facebook. So for me, I had at that point when I moved from South Africa to Australia, I had 3 kids under the age of 5. And I basically played on Facebook while they were sleeping, while they were playing, while they were doing whatever, and basically learned how to use free Facebook to grow my personal brand, grow my business brand, and get more clients and create income-producing opportunities. And I didn't need to have a marketing degree. I didn't need to be spending money on advertising. I just had to learn to do it myself. And of course, I did a lot of things wrong in the beginning, lots of wrong things. Didn't follow the right etiquette. I probably spammed a little. But what I did learn was the simplest, most effective ways to simply do it myself. And for the last 5 years, I've been incredibly passionate about teaching business owners how they too can simply do it themselves. They don't need to be a marketing guru. They don't need to be technologically minded, because I am none of those things. I'm hyperactive. I don't like being on the computer. I don't like being on Facebook. But what I do like doing is being able to get clients from Facebook for free. So, a lot of business owners may hear, they want to outsource it, or they get a bit overwhelmed, or they get a bit stressed with it. I'll give it to someone else. Or they may even think that Facebook doesn't work. But I've been working now with over 500 business owners worldwide, and they're getting anything from $1,000 clients per week, per month, to $5,000, $10,000 clients for free from Facebook, simply by learning to do it themselves. So I really do believe that the business owner can be the best person to do it.
Wow, that's good, because maybe you can share your little tips with me. I could use some help. So tell me, how then does one start to get free advertising? I mean, I know if you post a lot, that's free advertising. And, you've got to be consistent, and you've got to, to get your brand out there, which is, your personal brand, and you need to be consistent. You need to be authentic in your posts, and, not be spammy and all those other things. But what other tips are there that other, business owners could use that stop the overwhelm and stop the, oh my God, I can't do this?
Well, firstly, I honestly believe that people need to get familiar or make friends with the actual platform. So when we use software, technology, social media, anything in our business, we need to actually take the time to read the manual and read the directions and go through the entire thing so that we have a full understanding of how to use these to the best ability. Where a lot of people go wrong is, and it's kind of like the gym. When you go to the gym and you see someone using a piece of equipment, you think that that's how it's used. And you go do it as well, and then you get an injury or you get sore, you don't get results, and you think, well, it just doesn't work. Where it's more a case of they just don't have a strategy on how to use it. So I loved all the things that you said about consistency, being genuine, being authentic, posting, but that's only one small part of it. The other part is being able to effectively communicate what you do. The other part is understanding who your ideal client is and where they are on Facebook. And a very important part is then having a customer journey or a strategy on how you are going to present yourself to those people. So not just attract them to your page by having it all pretty and having all the content on there, but what else can you do on Facebook? Where else can you find those people, and how else can you go and put yourself in front of them on Facebook? And I often call that, how do you create income producing opportunities?
Yeah, well, it's obviously in other groups, whether they're public or private groups. So, you know, for me, posting in other people's groups, you know, gets me clients because, you know, I've got something that they need.
Yeah.
And that's exactly right. You have to have something that someone else needs, but you have to use the words that makes them want to need what it is that you're offering. So, yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to also find the groups where you know your tribe is hanging out. So what ideas have you got for that?
Well, it's my favorite S word, well, one of my favorite S words, and that is stalk. So we become part of what we do is we stalk ourselves online and we see how we look to a stranger. So if I was a stranger to myself and I stalked myself within 3 seconds of looking at myself and scrolling over myself, would I know exactly what it is that I do? Would I know exactly what problem I solve, and would I know how to be contacted? And that's super important. The next part is to go and stalk your competitors. So if anyone is out there and they are doing something similar to what it is that you're doing and are successful, go on and have a look at their reviews, their content, their customer journey, their Facebook banners, their services, their pricing, their opt-ins, the entire thing. Do an absolute ginormous stalk, not so that you can copy them, but that so you can differentiate yourself from them. And then the third part of that stalking is going and stalking your prospects and your ideal client, so that you can then try and put what you've learned from the competitors analysis and from you being able to communicate yourself so that you can be able to, with the right etiquette, present yourself to those people.
Okay, so my other job is like this podcast, other than the podcast, is, you know, helping speakers transition to an online business. So there aren't a lot of other businesses doing it. So how am I going to find them? You know, just as an example, using me as an example, how would I find my competitors if I don't know what to look for?
So here's the good thing. Facebook is a search engine exactly like Google. You don't need hashtags. All you need to do is put words into the search bar in Facebook, and Facebook will bring up the relevant content. So if you go into Facebook and you search for speakers training, in the search bar, any of your friends that are using that, any of your friends of friends, anybody who's got it marked as public will come up in your feed, and you'll be able to see anybody else that's doing speakers training. And often people forget that Facebook's just like Google. You can search inside it exactly like Google.
Well, that's a very good tip. I often forget to do that. I search for groups or people rather than positions or business, you know, names.
Yeah, so, 100%.
That's an excellent tip. Yeah, thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, people forget, you know, some of the simplest things because it's a social media platform. They forget that it's also a search engine.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, when I was in Mount Agung when I was in Bali a couple of years back, 2 years ago, Mount Agung was, the volcano was blowing up. And all I did was go on and put Mount Agung in, and anybody that was posting publicly about the volcano was sharing content. So I knew exactly what was going on in the volcano. And then I posted it on my feed, and I had an Australian news presenter contact me and say, please, could I report on it? And I'm like, you can just go to Facebook and search it, and you can see people right underneath the mountain that are there, like posting content. So,
oh, wow. But you could have become a famous reporter. There you go. Missed opportunity, woman. Okay, so having said that and having missing opportunities, which can happen, I'm not really sure how to word the question. So So we've talked about, searching out for your tribe, and we've talked about using Facebook as a search engine, much like Google. And we've talked about being authentic and genuine and all those sorts of things, and, your brand. So what other tips would you use or give to business owners that, are hesitant to start this journey of being the only person that is using, Facebook for their business? Because Facebook tells us that we need to have 2 admins per page.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said right at the very beginning, the number one reason people are stressed and overwhelmed is because they simply don't know how to use it, or they have a limited understanding of how to use it. So if you get familiar with the actual platform and you actually go in and you read your settings and go through each aspect of it really slowly, and you understand what each of those things really means, you're going to have confidence, you're going to have certainty, and that's going to help you get up every day and get onto the platform. The other thing that helps you get up every day and go onto the platform is when you have an action plan. And that's why a couple of years back, I changed my name from Facebook coach to strategist, because I realized that it's a personalized strategy that's got to be comfortable for the business owner to do, but also comfortable for the audience to receive. So it's a twofold thing. So when we talk about a strategy, we talk about having the end in mind. So if you want X amount of clients, how many programs do you have to sell? Who are those people who are going to buy it? Where are they hanging out? How are we going to evoke curiosity? And a couple of ways we do that is by sharing your expertise on a consistent basis, so showing how clever you are, your points of difference, which is incredibly important when it comes to Facebook. There's a gazillion people out there and a lot of choice for people. So if you want to stand out, you really need to focus on what makes you different from everyone else. And that needs to be the context of most of your posting. The next thing is credibility. So people want to know why they should work with you. So if you've won awards, or if you've got a certain amount of years experience, or anything that's going to help make you outstand everyone else, it's important to show those things. The next one is social proof. So people want to know they want to hear from other people why they should choose you as well. So for example, testimonials, reviews, success stories. These are things that people need to see all the time, so they know that other people are actually buying from you. They're actually using your services. A niche. We always talk about a niche within a niche. So if you can niche and then niche it down even further, it's going to help your ideal client be attracted to you even more. Fluffy simply doesn't work on social media. Generalism, cookie cutter does not work. So once we can separate ourselves and step out of that and be clear on those, you can have a successful Facebook profile that actually results in funds and not just friends.
That's another great piece of advice, yeah, because people get a lot of followers on their page, and they think that having all these followers on their business page is the be all end all, but it really isn't. I mean, I would rather have a few followers and they turn into clients rather than having a great wad full of them, and they just don't do anything. It's pointless.
Yeah, and I call it Egometrics. So Egometrics, and it's all based on, how many look at me, how many fans or followers I've got. But the other thing people forget is that Facebook's an algorithm. So the thing about that is it means that when you have got the wrong people following you, it's messing up the algorithm. It's diluting your brand and your audience, and it's confusing the artificial intelligence, the AI. So what happens is that if you've gone and bought your fans, or if you've done trickery and you've got the wrong people on there, then basically you're weakening your actual organic reach. Whereas if you've got fewer followers on there, but they're all the right people and they're all engaged, it's almost like a bad rash, and it expands and extends so much further. And that's what it's about. The other thing is understanding is that a lot of people are always focused on engagement, and they go engagement. But if you think about our demographic or my demographic when you're in your 40s or 50s, we're not going to like and comment or share all the time, but we are watching. We are looking. we are taking note, but we may not necessarily like, comment, or engage. So it is important to also recognize that engagement's not the be all and end all. You could have people engaging all the time, saying how wonderful and how fabulous you are, and you could be playing all these games and they could be all engaging, but it could mean no clients. Or you could have no engagement at all, people watching you, getting value from all the content that you're putting out there. And because you're effectively communicating what you're doing and evoking curiosity, and you've got a simple customer journey online, you're getting inquiries, you're getting clients.
Absolutely. Yep. I mean, you have so much good advice. I don't know. Where can people find you, Chantal? Because I think a lot of us could benefit from working with you.
Yeah, it's my name, which you can see in Zoom over here, Chantal Gerardy. So chantalgerardy.com.au. Check the spelling because it's a weird one. But www.chantalgerardy.com.au. And if you subscribe, we actually send out any updates that are going on with Facebook. So tips go out each week. This podcast will be going out as soon as I get it. And yeah, you'll be first to know if anything does change with Facebook. So be sure to subscribe.
Wow, that's pretty powerful stuff. And so, have you written any books? Have you got your own podcast?
No, I don't. So I did it the other way around. I've got a podcast tab on my website, and you'll be on that tab, but it's not mine.
Thank you.
I do it for my SEO. So I've done it the other way around. And again, I've done it strategically. I'm all about the strategy. So
great stuff. Great stuff. Well, I think if you've got any other final tips for people, if they want to, do it themselves and not outsource and stop the overwhelming fear.
Yeah, I think as business owners, we need to trust ourselves a bit more. We need to have a little bit more confidence in ourselves. So I think it's important to invest in ourselves and our ability to do things. If something is scary, it just means that we're being challenged. So I encourage you to take baby steps. I've actually got a blog on my website, which has got simple, practical, step-by-step tips on exactly what to do to get results. And there's a lot of advice out there and a lot of help out there. And I truly do believe business owners can do it themselves.
I've done it myself. I haven't needed to outsource anything. And I mean, I'm a little bit more tech savvy than some, but, some things are a little bit overwhelming. But, I just sit there and I plod through until I get it right. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And then as business owners, we get better all round. So, of
course. And I think it just adds to the skill set.
100%. And not only that, but your time implementing it goes down when you actually know what you're doing. And when you don't have to spend money on advertising, again, that's a fantastic return on investment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Chantal, we might leave it there. I might let you get back to your renovating.
Please don't.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and we'll catch up again soon.
Yeah, thanks so much, Rose.
Thanks, Chantal.
Bye.
Thank you for your company on Talking with the Experts. If you'd like to follow any of my channels, you can find them on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, PodBean, Anchor, and of course on YouTube. Sponsorship places are now available. And if you'd like to be a sponsor for Talking with the Experts, then you can contact me and I will be happy to share with you further details. I look forward to your company again. Bye for now.